Hey everyone, I hope you're not getting too bored during this period of isolation. This video marks the start of the Highland Karate Association's YouTube channel. So we're going to kick off with a cool down stretches video, this video will be really good to do straight after you've done one of our online Zoom classes. So a lot of these videos will be designed to supplement what's been taught in these classes, as well as stuff that you can do out with those classes. So if you're struggling with your internet connection for connecting to the online Zoom classes, you could use some of these videos to do some self-training until we can all get back in the dojo together. So there'll be a few HK instructors posting on this channel. We're going to have videos of different drills you can do. There'll be videos of the different katas in our syllabus. I personally am going to do some core conditioning stuff, body conditioning like workouts, and then some warm-up exercises and cool down stuff too. So for this cool down stretches video, you don't technically need any equipment if you don't have any of the stuff, but if you do have a mat, it might be a good idea to grab that and put it down on the ground, and I would suggest you have a bottle of water. Now before we kick off with the stretches, if you've just come straight from a Zoom class, so if you've just come straight from one of our online Zoom classes, what I want you to do is have a sip of your water, and I want you to walk around for a couple of minutes just to gradually bring your heart rate down, okay? And then we'll get into the stretches. So you might want to pause this video here while you just walk around and gradually lower that heart rate. Okay, so we're going to get started with some stretches for your calf muscles. You've got two main calf muscles. This is your gastrocnemius and soleus, and we're going to stretch both. So these two stretches will be performed standing and the rest will be performed sitting. And we're going to hold all of these stretches for approximately 18 to 20 seconds. So I want you to put your hands against the wall, keep this back leg straight and bend this front knee, and you should feel the stretch just up here in the top of your calf. So make sure that knee is blocked out and straight. And you're just going to push this back heel into the floor. And then we're going to change legs and do the same with this leg. So make sure that you're pushing that back heel into the floor and keeping that back leg straight while bending this front knee. Okay, so now that you've done that, that's us just stretched the first calf muscle, the gastrocnemius. Now we're going to stretch the soleus, and to do that we have to bend the knee, because the gastrocnemius is a weak knee flexor, so it helps you bend your knee. So to isolate the gastrocnemius, so we're not stretching that and we're stretching the soleus, we have to bend the knee, because then the gastrocnemius is busy bending the knee, which allows you to stretch the soleus. So for this soleus stretch, it's going to be quite similar to cat stance if you've done that before, so we're going to do that now. You can hold onto the wall for support still, so you want to bend this back leg, still pushing that heel into the floor, but then you want to push your weight from your hips forward slightly, all the while keeping that weight down in, keeping that force pushed into the heel. And you should feel that sort of here rather than up here. So the last stretch where we did that, you should have felt it here. This one, you should feel it slightly lower and even down into your Achilles. Then change legs and do the same on the other side. So very similar to cat stance. Really trying to push this knee over those toes while keeping the heel on the floor. Now I want you to grab your mat if you've got one. If not, you could use a towel, blanket, anything you like. Put it on the floor. Okay, so now we're going to do our seated stretches. And I like to do most of my cool down stretches in the seated position because it just helps you keep that heart rate down and helps you to relax. So we're going to start from upper body and work down. I like to do a lot of these stretches with my shoes off. It just allows me to get my feet in closer, and it's a little bit more comfortable. So for our first stretch, what I want you to do is stick your arm straight out in front of you, bring it across your body, use the other arm to pull it in, and I want this arm to either be below the elbow joint or above the elbow joint. Don't press it directly on the joint because it's not great for your joints. So I like to put it below the elbow joint because it just allows me to pull this arm in a lot tighter. And if you want a slightly deeper stretch, what you're going to do is look over that shoulder of the arm that you're pulling across. So we're going to hold that now for 18 to 20 seconds. Shake it out, change arms. Good stuff. Now we're going to move on to a tricep stretch. So to do this, you're going to place this arm behind your head, and then this other arm is going to pull this part this way. Or if you struggle to do that, you can push the humerus, the upper part of your arm, back. So this is a variation if you struggle to do this movement here. So you can do this or you can do this. Personally, I prefer this one. Just allows me to pull that arm deeper into the stretch to feel it all the way down the tricep. And change. Good. Now we're going to stretch the chest, so your pectoralis muscles. So what I want you to do is I want you to stick your hands behind your back and interlock your fingers. I'm going to move side on so you can see this stretch better. So clasp the fingers behind the back, and you want to make sure you're pulling these shoulder blades together at the back while pushing the chest out. And this just helps stretch right across here. Now we're going to do the same thing but with our hands in front of us to stretch all across the back here. So you can again interlock the fingers, push the hands forward, allow the shoulders to come round, and I want you to drop your head for this one just to try and stretch the traps as well. Good work. Now what we're going to do is we're going to move on to some stretches for the abs. So for this one, you're going to lie on your front, hands just in line with the shoulders, not underneath them but slightly out. You're going to push up, and you want to keep your hips down on the floor, but at the same time you want to try and pull your rib cage up to stretch all along here. You want to keep your shoulders down. I don't want this. I don't want your shoulders coming up to your ears. You want to keep them down. Keep that head up, nice and neutral. And the feet are going to be flat on the floor like this. So you've got to try and push the hips down while pulling the abs up. Good stuff. Now what we're going to do is go into child's pose, just to stretch that lower back as well. So you're just going to bend the knees, push the hands forward and drop the head. And you're trying to get your chest to the floor. Okay, our last few stretches are for the legs. So first of all, we're going to do a stretch for the quadriceps. Now you can do a standing quadricep stretch, but a lot of us are quite flexible just due to the nature of our sport. So a couple of the stretches we're going to do here are to get a deeper stretch. So what I want you to do is you're still kneeling at this point. This is why it's quite important to have a mat, because it can get sore in your knees. You're going to place your hands behind you like this. You're going to push the hips forward, and what you should do is you should be feeling that stretch all along here. So you're just going to hold that for 18 seconds. Good stuff. Now we're going to do a butterfly stretch. This is really good for your adductor muscles, so the ones that run down here, and it just helps you get your side kicks a bit higher. So you're going to place the soles of the feet together. You can hold on to your feet and do it like this, or you can use the arms to push down on the knees to try and get a deeper stretch along here. And if that's too easy, use the elbows to push the knees while holding onto your feet, and then you're not going to, I don't want you to arch your back, I want you to tilt from your hip. So you're trying to tilt from the hip and get that chest towards the floor. So if I show you from the side, you want to keep that back straight, and if you're going to tilt forward, you tilt from the hip. Now for these stretches, for the adductors and the hamstring stretches that we're going to do, we're going to hold them for 30 seconds. Now the reason that we're going to hold them for 30 instead of 20 is 30 seconds helps you to improve your flexibility, whereas the 20 seconds will just help you maintain the flexibility you already have. Okay, now we're going to move on to a glute stretch. This is going to stretch your gluteal muscles as well as your piriformis. So you're going to lie back with your knees bent. You're going to place one leg on top of the other like this. Bring this knee towards you, and then I want you to clasp your hands behind that leg, keeping your head back on the floor. And you should be pulling this way while trying to push the knee out that way. And you should feel that stretch just along here. Again, we're holding these ones for 30 seconds. And change legs. Okay, good. For our final ones, we're going to stretch our hamstrings. So for these ones, I want you to bend this leg, bring the foot into the thigh, into the inside of the thigh. Try and keep your back straight and tip from the hip again, and you're going to reach down and try and grab onto your toes. If you can't reach your toes and you can reach your knee, that's fine. Grab and pull at the knee, or at the calf, or at the ankle. It just depends on your flexibility where you're going to hold which part of your leg. I don't want you to try and force yourself to grab your toes. If you can't, just try and get as close as you can. And again, hold this for 30 seconds and it should help to improve the flexibility in the hamstring. So this back of the leg here. Change legs. You want to try and keep your toes pointing up as well, because if you point your toes, you start to feel it more in your calf rather than your hamstring. Not your calf, sorry, your shin, the muscles along here. Okay guys, that's you finished stretching, so give yourself a pat on the back. Good job. If you let us know in the comments if you find any of these stretches too difficult, because then I can add some other videos with slightly easier stretches. I wouldn't recommend that you do these stretches to improve your flexibility. I will later on, either this week or next week, post a video to help improve your flexibility, which you can do out with the training and at any point in the day basically. So yeah, if you post in the comments what sort of videos you'd like to see from other instructors in the club as well as myself. Let us know and we can see if we can make that happen. Thanks for tuning in, guys. Stay safe.